Today in Baton Rouge, the first of 2 days of hearings into Louisiana's COVID pandemic response. The House Homeland Security Committee was conducting the hearings, and that includes Bossier City State Representative Raymond Cruz there in the lower left. Testimony was heard from a variety of witnesses, including several from out of state. And Representative Chuck Owen discussed some of what he learned on day one.
But the most illuminating thing that those folks brought was information about what the federal government had done to the country, and then Louisiana basically had to receive, information from the federal government, a lot of which was, I would say, questionable at best.
And several doctors testified today. Dr. Holly Groh works with the homeless and a charity in New Orleans and discussed the way medical personnel were treated during the pandemic.
And I come to speak today for those fearing retributions. My charity wishes to remain anonymous for fear of repercussions.
The doctor also said those she worked with during the height of the pandemic mostly did not receive the vaccine.
From June 2020 to December 2021, 3,014 people served, 36 positive COVID tests, 0 deaths. Approximately less than 10 were vaccinated.
According to Groh, doctors who spread what was considered to be COVID mis or disinformation were risking disciplinary action by state medical boards, including suspension or revocation of their medical license. Bossier State Rep Raymond Cruz offered this reaction to the doctor's testimony.
The doctors weren't allowed to be doctors. I mean, that's what I'm getting already. Is while they have their interests of their patients as their number one priority, they weren't allowed to practice medicine. A lot of times they were told, you will and won't do this.
Cruz says they're hopeful to learn enough in these hearings to not repeat any harmful practices in the event of a future public health crisis. And Congress passed a bill to avert a government shutdown. Both chambers approving the bill today. It'll keep the government funded through late December. In the House, Speaker Mike Johnson did not have the necessary Republican votes to move the bill over the finish line, but he got support from Democrats, more than enough to get to 341. 82 Republicans voted against the bill. It includes $231 million in additional funding for the Secret Service, which has come under fire recently. The bill does not include the SAVE Act, a measure targeted at stopping non-citizens from voting. The bill funds the government through December 20th. 40 days till Election Day, and both candidates are holding dueling speeches on what voters say they care about the most, the economy. One poll shows Donald Trump leads in that area. Trump pitched his economic agenda today during a speech in North Carolina. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris, campaigning in the must-win state of Pennsylvania, zeroed in on her promise to build the middle class by touting her middle-class roots and experience in public service.
The centerpiece of my plan for a manufacturing renaissance will be a 15% made in America tax rate. If you don't make your product here, then you will have to pay a tariff.
In this election, I believe we have an extraordinary opportunity to make our middle class the engine of America's prosperity.
Harris will now head to Arizona, where she'll visit the southern border for the first time since becoming the Democratic presidential nominee. It's break time for us. When we come back, election integrity. It's a big deal. And in Arkansas,